Casper and Dennis here for UFC 241, proudly brought to you by Musashi. Standing with the man himself, Keith Jardine. He's been in movies such as Logan, Running with the Devil with Nicolas Cage, and many others. That's what we're here to talk about. Obviously, you're here with your wife, Jodie Escobar, as she takes on Hannah Cifers this weekend. Got to talk Hollywood, man. What was John Wick 1 like for you, being in that movie and getting killed by John Wick himself?
Man, that John Wick 1 was amazing, man. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I had a bigger scene with him, man. We ran out of time. We're supposed to get in this huge fight and really elaborate thing, and then we ended up, I just got shot in the head. But, man, that was a huge deal. And it's funny the way things are, man. Like, I knew the stunt coordinators and I knew the directors that were doing this, and I see what they're doing, man. And it's like, I don't know if this movie's going to be that good, man. Like, John Wick, what is he, like, does he have superpowers or something? The way I see him falling and getting up and running and all that, and, like, we're kind of concerned. But then I see the movie, and this is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's like these geniuses behind the camera, how they can edit and how they visualize things and how they turn it into something, man. It's just amazing.
What do you think about the fighting? Because obviously every movie these days has fight scenes, but as a fighter yourself, you know, you look at the way that he does stuff. We saw, like, in the last John Wick movie, there was a lot of sambo, a lot of martial art. What do you think about the fighting itself?
Yeah, I talk about this all the time, man. John Wick is freaking amazing, man, because they found a way. They're the first people to find a way to use judo, sambo, jiu-jitsu, and how do I make this work in a real flowing fight where the people can come behind me and shoot me or whatever? How do I make this work in this and make it look believable? Because honestly, like, MMA fighting is pretty boring if you look at it in a fight on a movie. Like, karate and stuff is way more exciting. But they were able to stay away from the karate and use a lot of more realistic fighting. In the shooting, man, I've had military and police people come up to me all the time and say, like express how awesome it was to see, like, a guy use real tactical situations, his reloads and all that stuff. And John Wick, man, I know he trained like crazy just to get good at that, man. Like he is really that good.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about
Keanu Reeves. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Keanu, a lot of people say he's a really cool guy behind the scene and on the set. I mean, you had a scene with him. What was he like? I mean, did he know much about the sort of legacy that you had in the UFC? Was he a fan of yours? And did you get a chance to have a bit of a chat with him behind the scenes while you're shooting these scenes?
Yeah, I did a little bit, man. But one of my favorite stories, and when I was at ringside for watching the fights, is Keanu came up to me a long time ago before all this, and he came up to me. He's like, I forget what he said. He's like, I'm a huge fan of your work or something like that.
Wow.
And Keanu Reeves, like, I'm a huge fan of, I was going to say The Matrix or whatever. Like, I'm a huge fan of you. I was kind of nervous.
Starstruck.
Yeah, really, and I don't very much.
Which fight was this for? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I was just ringside for something, one of those ones. Probably was when Rashad was fighting or something. But he's super humble and really cool on set, man, and he works, man. Like, think about it. Every scene is him doing amazing action. I just remember him. He would go up and do his stuff, close himself, blah, 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 and get sweaty and work hard and get back and sit in his chair and just wait till they call him again, man. Like, because a show like that, man, it's work. I mean, it's months of work.
What was it like behind the scenes, like when you guys were working together? Because I imagine, like, it was kind of like a reunion, right? He came up to you all those years ago, and then it's kind of funny that, like, you guys are working together all these years later. He would have known exactly who you were.
Yeah, he knew I was, but it was really cool, man. It's real professional. We're on set, we're working. Like he came up to me and talked, and we had a few moments, and then it was just like really like kind of like, again, he's working, man. Yeah. Like it was really like, how can I help you out to get through this thing that you're doing? Yeah.
Obviously, you've got another great movie out with Nicolas Cage that's just come out this year. Did you get much of a chance to see what Nicolas Cage is like behind the scenes? I know he's a bit eccentric. There's a lot of stories about him. What's it like being in a Cage movie?
Man, it was great. Funny you talk about starstruck, and like I've had movies with Joaquin Phoenix, and he was freaking amazing. With Jeff Daniels, with a lot of amazing people, and. When you see people that you watch from your childhood, and all that's different. I had one small scene with Nick Cage and Lawrence Fishburne, but man, I got my little heart bumping a little bit there. I had to calm it down, man, and that was really cool to be with Nick Cage, and he was super cool. Thing is, I just worked with his son on NCIS, so we had a little in there, and I talked to him a little bit, and he was just really cool and nice and whatever. I guess it wasn't that he's method. I guess he was a really nice character in the show, so he was really nice to me, I guess. Yeah, so him and Lawrence Fishburne were amazing, and I did have the day to hang out with them, and it was a great experience.
Just quickly off the top of your head, what's your favorite Nicolas Cage movie? You've got things like Face Off, you've got things like Con Air, Gone in 60 Seconds.
No, I'm not going to remember the Red Rock West. How's that one? That's one. I'm pretty sure that's one I'm thinking about. And there's the one where he was a writer. Oh my God, he plays a real writer, and he kind of I forgot the name of that movie. I don't remember names of movies that well, but that's my second one. Yeah.
Us neither. We're terrible like that. I was just going to say, what's the hardest stunt you've ever done? The most memorable one? Have you ever been injured during like doing a stunt or filming of a movie? Not that we're hoping for that, but if there is a story like that.
No, but a few people have died in stunts lately, and my buddy, a good buddy of mine, just hit his head and got a bad concussion, and he's still not right from it after a few months. And so stunt work is really flies under the radar, and sometimes it can be really easy. You could just be standing in a dangerous spot-ish, and that's being a stunt man. But sometimes you gotta be ready for when they call you, do something really dangerous. So go out to all the stunt man, props man, because those guys, you never know when you get a job like what you could be doing like a naked stair fall down like 4 flights or something, just falling off a building or something like that. You never know. But I think Jurassic World, I had a stunt job in Jurassic World, and I got ratcheted pretty good when I got took out. But a ratchet is they take you got a line for you. Like I'm running, I got a line, I got a vest underneath my stuff, and I got a line, and they do like they jack it up with air pressure, a lot of PSIs, and it'll shoot you up the thing. And we rehearsed that like 25 times because the director just wanted more, because that looked like a raptor just took me up. So I'm running to a spot, and once I get to the spot, boom, it just shoots me up the hill.
Does it hurt when that happens?
Yeah, it hurts. You get all sore from getting all twisted up and all that. And you got to not anticipate, like once I get to the spot, it's going to happen. But that rope better be tight, or else it's really going to yank me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got pretty sore from that one. That's what I remember. But other than the fights, when I do fights, man, I'm a big guy, so I'm the guy that's usually doing the throwing around. I'm not the guy getting thrown around too much.
You got to take it easy on the other guys, right?
Exactly. Yeah, so I got a lot of parts where I do a lot of stunt acting stuff. Because who's going to double me, really, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of guys that look like me.
Just quickly, obviously, we have to get your thoughts on fighting as well. You had an amazing UFC round. So many fans wondering, sort of, what would be your thoughts on the current light heavyweight division? Obviously, a guy, John Jones, who trains with Jackson Wink at camp that you know all too well, and then you got a lot of contenders in there at the moment. What have you thought about what's been going on in the division?
You know, until recently, like who's the guy that John just fought?
Thiago Santos.
That guy's amazing, man. You got John.
Who did you have winning that fight, by the way?
John definitely won that fight, but I think if Santos didn't get injured, who knows what would have happened. I think it would have brought a lot more out of John, and we would have just had a fight of the century kind of thing. John, he saw his path to victory and he took it. Good for him. But man, if he never got injured, man, we got deprived of a really good fight there. So he's good, man. Cormier's good, but honestly, it's a little disappointing because back in the day, the 205 was a pride of the UFC, where everybody, like the top 8 fighters were amazing.
Yeah.
Now we're looking like what? We're looking at middleweight, 170, things like that. But yeah, it kind of hurts me a little bit, and it's definitely changed a lot too. Like you got a lot of guys there with just power and like heavyweights, like just power and wrestling, and not as much like the technique guys. So that's my view of the 205, and John Jones is just like it's hard to keep it interesting with John at the top. Yeah, like who's he gonna fight now?
Yeah,
Cormier again. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, obviously, John trains at Jackson Wink. Did you have many moments where did you ever guys cross over and train together?
All the time.
I know, yeah, you got. What do you think about people's thoughts of him being possibly one of the greatest of all time? You would have seen a lot of things behind the scenes in terms of training, what he's really capable of. What do you think of him as a fighter, what he's achieved, and sort of his legacy in the sport?
I think easily, based on who he's beaten and what he's done and how he's beaten him, he's the greatest of all time. Though careful how I say it. My favorite of all time, because guys that I looked up to was GSP, man. Like I think his style was amazing, and he beat some really tough guys in their prime, and the way he came out to become a double champ and all that. So John's a friend of mine, so it's like, get away, John. GSP is the greatest of all time. Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up, we just got to find out what's coming up next. Obviously, you've got this big movie that's out with Nick Cage and Lawrence Fishburne. What else? What can people expect from Keith Jardine in the future? Are there any crazy things coming up that you can share with us?
I can't share now, man. We're talking about this one thing that I'm super pumped out about, and I'm hoping it's going to happen, and I'm just waiting for that, so I'm not going to jinx that. I got the next thing to come out is a little bit Running with the Devil. It's going to be great with Jason Cabell, man. That's another thing. I read the script and I'm okay, like this is pretty good. But then I see how the director Jason Cabell is directing it and how funny it is, and oh my God, this is going to be great. So I'm pumped about this movie. And I've had a lot of stuff this last year. I've been in Blind Spot. I've been in Punisher. Oh, forget them all. Running with the Devil. I got a lot of stuff. Yeah, so a lot of things are going, man. I think these next few years are going to be freaking big for me, man.
It's great seeing you being so successful in Hollywood, Keith, and obviously very happy. So thank you so much for your time. And obviously, go on, what were we going to say?
It's goddamn tough, man. I tell you what, man. Hollywood is way more competitive than fighting ever was, man. Yeah. You go in that audition room and you got 20 guys that look tougher and have a lot more experience in acting than you, and you recognize them and all that, man. And it's cutthroat, man. People don't give a shit that I'm a fighter, man. Where I'm at right now, it's basically like, do I look a certain way? Am I a good actor? And it's really, really freaking tough, man. And I love it. It gets me out of bed every morning.
Well, good luck this weekend with your wife, obviously Jodie Escobar taking on Hannah Cyphers. And hey, those guys may look tough in that room, but we know who's really tough in that room, and they know it too.
I have to tell myself that every time.
Thanks so much, Keith. Appreciate it.